Hello, everybody, and welcome to a whole new season of this F1 23 career mode journey. And we are now showing you the one-off livery we are running for the Bahrain Grand Prix. The full season 3 livery will be on the car from the next race. But first, it's Bahrain, and the big news is that Lotus have invested themselves in the team and have invested a nice chunk of cash into the team, so we are now known as Lotus JT with Bloody Bow at the end. All I'm going to say about that personal bit at the end is, if you know, you know. Right, Q1 here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. There are 16 races ahead of us in this Season 3 campaign, and the target is very simple. Win the World Championship. That is what we're aiming for here. We set a target last season of a handful of podiums with a win. We achieved a couple of those, so the next step is to take that championship. And there are a couple of surprises in this Bahrain Grand Prix, the first of which is that Max Verstappen doesn't make Q3. He will be starting P14. It's a dismal qualifying for Verstappen. In fact, both Red Bulls are out. Perez not making the cut either. So Red Bull shock going on there as both the Red Bull cars are eliminated at Q2, and now we go into Q3 and I'm giving it everything. I am pushing as hard as I can. My teammate for this season, if you caught the last race, you'll already know, is Felipe Drugovich. He is making his secondary race with the team here, because apparently the glitch hadn't been fixed where the contract was too early at the time of recording. But anyway, it's a whole new season, and what better way to start a season than to start on pole for the first race of it. Pierre Gasly starts second, and it's a very strong qualifying for Lando Norris in third, and Théo Pourchaire debuting for Aston Martin in the top 4. That is a brilliant debut performance from him. Esteban Ocon, his teammate, is in 8th, and our teammate is in 6th.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best, of course, at turn 1, and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into that tight left-hander of turn 10. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sparkles lines up on pole position, and it's Pierre Gasly in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Théo Pourchaire, Russell, Drugovich, Magnussen, Ocon, Sainz, Leclerc, Bottas, Perez, Stroll, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Joe, Albon, Sargent, Oscar Piastri, De Vries, Liam Lawson, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
A whole new season begins. What lay ahead in these 16 races? Let's get the first one underway now. We've got a really good start, but Lando Norris really lagging off the start. Théo Pourchaire away brilliantly. He's having a look at Pierre Gasly, and as we go into turn 1, we've had a whack in the rear, and our teammates trying to get through in that little gap after we've been hit. No surprises there to see the red flag out. What happened? All I knew is that I was going into the corner, and then suddenly I had a whack. Let's go then. We're away. Pierre Gasly's away slowly. Norris is away even slower, but it was Théo Pourchaire attacking Gasly. Gasly's gone defensive. Oh, he's braked very late as he's got into turn 1, and he's hit me, and where I've spun round and stopped, it's caused a traffic jam. Drugovich was up to second, and he was trying to sneak through before he tagged my car, but look at this. I'm already going into the corner. Gasly's just well, he's driven straight into me there. And of course the red flag has been thrown. I can't really hold myself accountable for that one. I was just going into the first corner and suddenly I had a nice whack from Pierre Gasly. But it does mean that we can edit our strategy moving forward. So, here we go again. A second attempt at a race start. And it's lap 3 and it's lights out and away we go with myself and Drugovich making it up the front row. But Drugovich not getting such a good start. Gasly getting an absolute dream start. He's moved up to second. Drugovich is fighting him. In fact, he's gone wide and gone down to fourth. And Russell now moving up to second. The Mercedes fighting each other. Everybody behind me fighting it out. But you know what? Like I said, dream start for us. And we are already off into the distance. And I'm going to enjoy this one. Lap 3 coming to an end. And finally, our first racing lap of the season is complete, and predictably it's a fastest lap for us, with Russell and Gasly close behind, and Drugovich is in fourth with Drugovich rounding out the top 5. We've gone deep there. Now, are Russell, Gasly and co going to the end? Because if so, that could spell trouble, although that's going to be asking a hell of a lot on that tyre. Russell's now getting past us, but you know what? I decided to let him go there for the tactical reason of he's going to give us DRS, and now we have DRS, we can just simply retake the lead and try and disappear off into the distance. But it's not proving easy because the guys behind me are very, very quick, and they're actually having a better time on the hard tyres than I am on the medium. This time I've not let George Russell go, so we are going to have to defend him into one. Russell getting right into my gearbox. Gasly and Pourchaire just waiting in the wings, or more so Gasly. Pourchaire has dropped a few seconds back, and Norris has now got ahead of Drugovich. So Drugovich not having such a great first race for our team, or should I say second race if you count Abu Dhabi. But Drugovich not having a great start to the season is what I should probably say. Here comes George Russell then. We're going defensive. Russell's going to have a look to the outside, but there's going to be nothing in doing in that. However, we've had to go in quite tight, and there is a yellow flag out. What is going on behind? It's Lando Norris! Oh, Lando! That is a shocking start to the season for him. And he was looking quite strong in this race as well, having got past Drugovich. His pace was quite strong. Right, Gasly has now got past Russell, and he's now having a look at us. In fact, I've gone deep. I've gone very deep. Is Gasly going to be through? Yes, he is. Gasly is through. Russell's also having a look down the inside. No way through there. In fact, we made a little bit of contact, and as I rejoined, we go side by side, and I feel like because I didn't rejoin in the safest of ways, I should let Russell go, and that is exactly what I did. However, that's not before having a look back up the inside here and getting him back. So now we've got George Russell back up into P2. Pourchaire and Russell are now fighting each other. And you know what, guys? You are more than welcome to fight each other. I'm going to try and disappear off. Right, it's pit stop time. Into the pits we come for a change of tyres. And I've just happened to notice something quite horrible here. We are using up a lot more fuel than I'm comfortable with. In fact, I'm losing out on 0.08 or 0.09 laps worth of fuel every lap. So I'm actually going to be in a strong fuel deficit unless I start saving fuel. So that's exactly what we're going to have to do. But first things first, I'm pushing to get the undercut on Pierre Gasly. Maybe if I can get ahead of him, I can control the pace, but already we're in that deficit, setting the fastest lap as I try and attempt this. We have got past Pierre Gasly, but am I going to be able to hold it with the fuel saving I am going to have to do? And he's now, you can see, he's right behind me here is Pierre Gasly, and unfortunately the fuel saving I'm doing right now just isn't enough. So unfortunately for me, I am just going to have to let Pierre Gasly go, and maybe even Pourchaire too. So it is a disaster of a start here. It started out so strongly, but with the fuel saving, I'm just falling back here. And now I've lost the place to Gasly. I'm dropping back from him. I'm pulling over to try and defend, but with me just not being able to brake, Théo Pourchaire has now gone through into second. I don't really want to risk fighting him too much and risk losing it, although we're getting very close here. Am I going to be able to try and get second back one more time? No, not with the fuel saving. So I did admittedly lower my fuel load before the start of this race, and it's now come back to bite me, and we're now fighting George Russell for third. But I figured I could do this tactic all the way to the end of the race, where I let him go and get him back into turn one. Although that could backfire because Kevin Magnussen's getting involved, as is Max Verstappen, who started this race from P14. He's moved up the order, hasn't he? But I've seen all three of them off for now, and I'm just hoping that with the fuel saving I'm doing, I can make it to the end of the race and still retain a podium or a very decent result at the very least. So, first race issues going on here. Russell's quite far away from me, so I'm going to have to use the DRS to good effect. I have managed to save myself enough fuel to attack him here, and we've gone up the inside before the corner. So we've got George Russell back, and I'm just going to try and cruise this round now to retain P3, which would still be a strong start to the season. 16 points, and in fact there you have it. We're on the last lap, and we are not peachy on fuel again. Look how much time we've lost to Gasly and Pourchaire just having to conserve the fuel, but it's still going to be a podium here. Russell is going to have a look at the last corner. In fact, he's taking a dive. Are we going to be able to retain it around the outside? Just about. And it's going to be a podium here in the Bahrain Grand Prix. P3.
That's a fantastic to secure victory here in the desert. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners.
Underfueling the car at the start of the race did come back to bite me, as our consumption was still higher than what I pictured it would be, and as a result Pierre Gasly takes a commanding win with Théo Pourchaire on the podium for Aston Martin in second. Great opening race for him. We're having to settle for third, and then it's Russell, Magnussen, Verstappen gaining many places in that race. Leclerc, Drugovich securing points for us. Ocon and Perez rounding out the top 10. Thank you for watching the first of this season's instalment of Career Mode. Give me a like and hit the subscribe button if you're new here and you want to see more content from me. Until the next time, TTFN guys.